Hi guys, Javier here. I'm not into product reviews or this kind of videos. I'm actually always trying to enjoy performing live, but there's a question I received a few times on YouTube and on some threads on Reddit. And that's something that I actually asked myself and never had the answer, so it makes sense to make a few video about it. And it's about what's the best Ableton Live controller for a guitar player and for guitar looping. That's a complex question. It will have different answers. It will depend on what you're looking for, if it's live, if it's recording, if it's pre-production, if it's improvising. It's very complicated, but let's try to get there and see. Let's start with the APC40 Mk2 that we have here. It's been a few years in the market. As you can see, the typical grid with the sends and the tracks. Could be MIDI or audio tracks, it's RGB. As usually, you select them to start to record, to play, etc., to stop on the empty ones if you have the stop assigned. You can stop your tracks. You can stop all the scenes, all the clips. You can select your track. You have dedicated solo and record buttons. You have dedicated mute and AV selection for grouping. You have all your volume knobs, which is simply mechanical. You don't have any kind of LED to see where you are, where you're not. So if you're moving on the grid, this will stay the same and it's kind of messy. You have these rotary LED based knobs, which are really cool, that you can control the sends, the pan, or maybe user defined adjustments. It's really cool because you know where you are. It's infinite moving. You have all your track controls that you can move around them with similar rotary LED based controls. Play, stop, metronome, change the tempo, tap tempo, etc., etc. It's a really cool device, very well built, strong. I mean, this feels like a pro tool that you can take gigging. I do have two big complaints on this one. I selected it because everything is in there. You have everything quite in front of you, so you don't have to navigate through menus. When you're playing the guitar, sometimes you might have only one hand left. But the first thing I don't like about this one is when you get closer with the guitar, with single coil pickups especially, it gives you some humming. That's a no-go for a live session. If you're doing recordings at home, as I'm doing, I can live with that because I can do some post-production on it. The second thing I don't like is the buttons. The feeling, it's really strange, especially when I've already tried the Novation Launchpad buttons, which are amazing, which are pressure sensitive, etc. What I do like, and what's the key, as I said, you have everything in front of you. You also have a foot switch to start and stop recording. For a guitar player, that's indispensable. I don't know if you say that in English, but it's something that you cannot live without it. The other thing I like, everything is in front of you. When you have not many controllers and you don't have one controller per track, maybe you have only one controller, like the MPK Mini, that you have the drum pads and the piano, you have to change from drums to pianos to basses to synths, etc., etc. You can select by arming and disarming the tracks. Everything is in front of you. You can change the scene, change the instrument, and you go directly to play. I think it's a great unit. You can see it has a few years on it. I'm pretty sure we will see the Make3 in a couple of months. But for what it's right now, beginning of 2021 in the market, it's a great unit for live purposes, for not as well produced material when you want to be improvising in the field. Maybe you're with a band and you just want to have a few parts improvised, things like that. Really, really great unit. If I will have to take only one, this might be it. If I had to take this live and for concerts, I'm not really sure I will take it because I could pre-produce a few things and I might go with a Launchpad due to footprint and the feeling of it, especially on the bottom. Sometimes I miss hitting them. I'm not sure if you can see, I don't know if I hit it or not. And when you're playing the guitar, it's like you cannot have that kind of things, that if I manage to have a second to go and press a button, it has to be pressed. I have to be sure it happened. So I think that's it on the APC40 Mk2.
And here we have the Novation Launchpad Pro. I have to be honest, the first one I had was the Novation Launchpad X. I really love it. It's thin as this one. Bottoms, the feeling, it's amazing. I mean, it's wonderful. It's a brand new design. It's a very clever design. You have all these menus where you can do a lot of things. It could be a controller for Ableton Live. It can be a MIDI instrument. You can do your drum pads, change, then record, then change, then do chords. It's a lot of things. You can control all volumes, panning, arm, solo, muting, everything. Again, you have the grid, you have the tracks, you have these scenes. You can move between the scenes. It's everything is here. The feeling, I mean, the feeling of the buttons, again, it's amazing. But as a guitar player, especially in the X, not on this one, I had to change many menus and do many clicks to do only one thing. And when you're playing guitar, as I said before, you usually have your hands completely busy, so you don't have that freedom of movement, and so you have to think on the click economy somehow. How many clicks does it takes you to go somewhere? That's why I changed from the X to the Akai APC40. Everything in front of you. If you're improvising, I do believe that's still the best controller. But if you want a middle point, this one seems amazing because you have the record arm or mute or solo or volumes. You have everything one click away. You're not mixing with your Sense Select buttons. It's pretty simple. I really like this, something that only the Novation does, not the Akai, which is when you arm a track, all the empty slots get red. So it's not only you have to look at the record arm button. With the whole column, you know where you can go. That's a very simple and useful visual guide. You have many other options that you don't have on the Akai. The Akai is very straightforward. Everything is a lot of buttons, a lot of knobs. Everything is in there in front of you, which is the best tool if you're improvising, if you haven't pre-produced everything. What does it have that the Akai does not have? MIDI in-out. This is a controller. This is a very interesting controller. If you have very little space for traveling, this could save your life. If you get close to this, you have no humming. This is well built, isolated. That's very important if you're playing with single coils. What does the Akai has that this one does not have? And there's a trick to it. This doesn't have the foot switch, okay? You have MIDI in out. I'm pretty sure you can do a workaround on that one. Maybe you can use foot switch, a MIDI foot switch somewhere else, but in this unit it's not there. But again, there's a workaround on it because something you find in Novation and also in the Ableton Push, but you cannot find on the Akai is the fixed length recording. There are many forums talking about this in the Ableton official forum, in Reddit, that how to achieve this. There are Max for Live plugins that you can use. There are many other things, but straight on the unit, only on this one, and on the Push 2. I'm not sure in the Push 1, most likely. That's something that could be a workaround, for me at least. I do pre-produce everything I record on the videos. I'm pretty sure how long I'm going to take on everything, so I can do that. I was already pre-doing it with part of a plugin on Max for Live, but if I have it here, I think it makes a lot more sense. And you can take it and select the length that you're going to do it, 1 bar, 2 bar, up to 8 bars. It's pretty straightforward. I think that's it. I mean, I'm not going to do an extensive review on these units. You have thousands of those in YouTube. It's just, as a guitar player, I'm changing actually to this one. The Akai seems to be too big, too bulkier. I don't like the feeling of the buttons, but everything is in there again. If I have to go live to improvise, I want to do not so pre-produced live show, I will for sure go with the Akai. I will give it a try to this one, which is more compact. I can still arm and unarm the tracks, which for me is one of the most important things, and mute on mute, to play with changes during a song and not have to not having so many essence on it. And yeah, I'm going to give it a try. I hope this helps a little bit. So it's not that there is a best one, it's just it will depend on what you're using it. So bye.